Next up, the second annual Rick and Rick Awards, Part 3.
That's right. Our special series on the Rick Worthiest Marketing of 2018 continues.
With our totally subjective, unscientifically selected favorites from the year that was.
And this time out, the best mobile marketing of 2018.
Including blockbuster efforts from brands like Nike, Burger King, ESPN, and more.
So let the celebration begin right here and right now.
On the one show where everybody's name is Rick.
And everybody rules the world.
Happy New Year. I think this is our first new show of the new year, right?
I think it is. Happy New Year to you too.
Wow.
Did you have a good holiday and a good New Year's?
First part of it was awesome, and the second part, I hurt myself, so I've been recovering from that. But overall, very good. How about you?
It was good. It was quiet. It was uneventful, and which are pretty much the two best things.
Awesome. So you had children home from college, at least one of them. Is he still around for a while?
He is. He's on a semester system, so doesn't go back for a few more weeks. So he's enjoying the time off and recuperating from his first semester at college.
Yeah, I love those breaks. I've long forgotten them. Could you imagine, twice a year having 4 weeks off?
I can't even imagine, but that would be magical.
Yep. Absolutely. We probably took it for granted back in the day. All right. Well, we've got a super cool show for you all today. This is the second annual Rick and Rick Awards, and it's continuing with Part 3, Best Mobile Marketing of 2018. This is where each of us will count down our top 3 favorite mobile marketing initiatives from the past year. So let's get cranking here. What's your number 3 top mobile campaign?
So as you know, I'm a gamer. And this year has been no different. In fact, I should be embarrassed to say this probably, but I just got a thing from Microsoft that said I was in the top 5% of gamers worldwide. So, is it something I should be proud of or something I need therapy over? And I'm not sure which it is.
Maybe both.
So for this year, I wanted to focus on this particular mobile app. There was a game that was released back in 2017 called PlayerUnknown Battleground, PUBG for short. And it was a battle royale game. It was kind of reinvigorated that style of gaming. It wasn't the first one, certainly wasn't the last one, but it stood out as one that really got people excited about it. And the game was inspired by stuff like the Hunger Games, or even an aptly named movie called Battle Royale, where all these people were dropped into this area and they had to battle to the death. So this developer used that as an inspiration. He created a couple mods for other games before releasing his own game, which is this PUBG game. The premise is super simple, but it's the game itself isn't as simple. You and up to 99 other players are dropped, parachuted onto this large island, and it's a first come first serve where you have to scavenge for weapons and equipment and all this other stuff, while at the same time the world around you is shrinking, and so they're forcing everybody to the center of the map, or to a particular region on the map. And so what the goal is to fight all the other characters and be the last one standing, right? So it's pretty simple. Well, it came out on the PC. It took off. It went crazy. They then released, I think, the Xbox and the PlayStation version of it. And this last year, they dropped it out on the mobile device. Now, people have tried to do, first-person shooters or, combat kind of games for a long time, and for whatever reason, they've never been able to kind of catch that magic and get people really excited about it. This game is different, and somehow they found a way, using the same technology, using the same game engines as everyone else, to develop a game that got a lot of traction, dropped it into worldwide markets, so not only in the US but around the world, particularly in China, where there's a huge group of people who are gamers. And this has become the number one mobile game this year last year in 2018. So huge kudos to them. So for that, the fact that they've reinvigorated the whole mobile gaming experience and got everybody excited, have people playing around the world, and become the number one game worldwide, I'm going to give them my number 3 position.
Wow, that's an awesome number 3. My number 3 for this year is Whopper Detour. This was a special promotion from Burger King that offered people a special coupon for a 1-cent Whopper anytime that they happened to be within 600 feet of a McDonald's. So this app would ping you if you were within 600 feet of McDonald's and offer you a Whopper at 1 cent to go redeem. Well, obviously, we were talking about this. I'm not going to download a special app and then go to McDonald's just to get a 1 cent coupon for a Whopper. But as a publicity machine and as a way to get people to download the Burger King app, this turned out to be brilliant. They had more than 1 million downloads in the first 36 hours of this app's release.
Wow.
It shot to the top of the App Store. It turns out to be a fantastic idea for superfans of Burger King. So hats off again to Burger King. It's our third category that they've been in.
So for me, I also have this on my list. This is my number two. And it seems like more and more you and I keep talking about Burger King. It seems like every time we, surf the web, we find another great example. I mean, we've talked about their net neutrality awareness campaign. Yep. We talked about their AI written commercials. I mean, they just repeatedly seem to nail it. This is a company who should literally write the book on how to do, this idea of viral and social marketing, because they are nailing it. So anyway, I picked this one as well. I thought this was fantastic. It's a simple idea, this idea of going into or being near a McDonald's and being alerted if you have the app and getting a burger for 1 cent. They were giving these things away almost. I think they just charged a cent so that they could show a transaction, and it was fantastic. It was multifaceted, and what I read was that they had done this originally, or maybe this was what was pitched to them, as a way to promote their order ahead feature of the app, which is a big differentiator for them. So they could say, hey, you want a burger, that's great, order it, and by the time you get here, it's done, it's hot, it's ready for you, come pick it up. Yes. Which is kind of a clever thing. Although I do think that the whole within 600 feet of McDonald's was more just a PR ploy, but
just to troll McDonald's.
Yeah. And by the way, when I was talking to my son earlier today, I was going through the list with him, and he's like, "Dad, this is my favorite for the year," and I hadn't even heard about this. So wow. Kudos, they crossed the generations.
Okay, so my number two is unconventional. This campaign freaked people out. In fact, in no way would I ever advise a brand to use this exact same tactic in the exact same way, but it's a hell of a lot of fun, and I could see where it could be modified into something that is at least in the vicinity of acceptable. So my number two pick this year is ESPN, Why Aren't You Watching? So this was part of a much larger integrated campaign. It was designed to promote ESPN's coverage of the NBA Finals this past June. So ESPN set it up where they sent, prank level personalized messages to iPhone users in New York City to ask why they aren't at home watching the NBA Finals. So someone sitting on a bench, this was the example that they gave, someone sitting on a park bench might receive a message like, enjoying a rest on the bench? LeBron isn't. So each one of these messages would be a comical play into, in that instance, LeBron James of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then it would prompt people to hey, get home and watch the game. In fact, I could be wrong here, but I believe that they were given the ability to stream the game right then and there on their iPhone if they wanted to. Now, this was not a opt-in. This campaign from RGA New York used iPhone's AirDrop feature. The AirDrop feature that A, most people don't even know about, and B, if turned on, enables iPhone users to transfer files directly between the iPhone and like a smart TV or something like that, as long as it's within 30 feet or so. So iPhone users had no idea it was coming, so they were interrupted without permission on their iPhones in, I think it was 5 different locations in New York. So they must have had interrogators set up, sensors to read when an iPhone with the AirDrop enabled passed by and then sent the special message. It had to have been customized to play into whatever the person was doing, so there had to have been a crew on site as well. I haven't seen a viral video of this, and in fact, it was just a test, but I think that there could be a really, really fun way to use this technology in a campaign that doesn't quite cross the line into totally creepyville. So that's my number 2 pick for this year.
It actually was in my my cut list. It's funny, you and I have never talked about this one. I thought this was a really interesting way. I didn't realize until you just described it how creepy it was, because I was enamored with the technical aspects of it.
Right.
But definitely a little creepy. Definitely feels like a little bit of an invasion of privacy. In my better mind, I hope I would never recommend that to a client. But it's interesting to try and find ways to leverage these new
Right.
technologies and personalization, and be able to do something like what they did. When I first read it, I thought it was just kind of citywide. They were blasting out all these airdrops saying,
No.
hey, why
Yep.
aren't you watching the NBA finals, which I think is pretty clever, by the way.
Yeah.
But it sounds like maybe it was a little more creepy than that.
Yeah, I think that this one goes too far. And again, they were literally just experimenting with the technology themselves. But I do believe there are applications of this technology where there is almost the sense of it being a surprise that someone has already pre-opted into. The technology, very cool. Application here does cross into, in my opinion, cross into Creepyville, but I did think it was a lot of fun for what it was.
I bet you if Burger King had done this, it would have been more of a public service announcement of, hey, did you know that
Right.
people can just send you messages randomly, and still somehow would have been quirky and funny and
Yes.
sarcastic in the way.
That actually is a
Yeah.
really good point because in a different brand's hands, that would have come across, even if it was as interruptive as this one was, as being a public service to the user. I don't think people would be as offended. They'd have a lot of fun with that. That's a very good point.
All right, so my number one, and this one I didn't see at the time. Apparently, this just happened a few weeks ago. So Nike got together with Facebook, and we're testing out some beta functionality. And Nike wasn't alone. There were several brands that were doing this, and they were testing out the AR functionality built into Facebook Messenger. Did you hear about this?
Yes. This is very cool.
And so what they decided to do, and the experience is called Curie 4 Red Carpet Experience, I think it started with a message they sent to users, kind of like an invite, and the user then opted in. So not so creepy as the last example.
Right.
And the camera would turn on the phone, and within the space the user was in, they would see a pedestal with this new Nike shoe. It's a red shoe. I think it has like a gold swoosh or something like that. And then allow the user to then move around this pedestal, because it's an AR, an augmented reality kind of experience. They were moving around this element, and they could see it. They could kind of interact with it a little bit and learn more about the shoe. But the cool thing is they backed it up with a chat bot. And so the chat bot could do things like answer questions about the product, could, actually answer almost any question probably. But most importantly, allowed them to then order the product. And so this was so successful that within an hour, they sold out the whole shoe line. And
Yes.
so in all measures, both from an engagement, from a sales perspective, this was, well, assuming they had more than about 10 pairs in a warehouse, this was a very successful campaign.
Yeah, I can see the Nike Arati loving that. It was an AR experience that enabled the user to place a purchase right then and there. And I think that is huge. In fact, one promotion that almost made my list, it's kind of like an honorary mention. It's not incredibly creative, but it has an important functionality like that. And that was Domino's has used AR filters, the lenses that people use for Snapchat and Instagram. Brands love them. People seem to, dig using the taco face filter from Taco Bell. But what Domino's did is they had the thing where if you're training the lens on your own face and taking a selfie, it was a pair of really cool sunglasses. And in the sunglass reflection was a Domino's box, and it's open to the pizza. But if you train the lens away from you, using the outbound camera, you would see a pizza floating in air. And you were able to place a purchase right there within Snapchat. And I think this is super cool.
Well, so tell me, what is your number one?
Okay, totally cheating on this one. This is not even fair, but there is a method to my madness here. So this is my favorite mobile initiative of the year, but it actually has nothing to do with mobile phones or even a consumer device at all. In fact, the way I was kind of thinking of this one is, if you think about when we did the best AR experiences, I think episode 1, or first episode in this series, we talked about how live AR is so great because the audience can suddenly engage and have a brand experience without having to have a mobile phone or device. This is kind of like that for a completely different scenario. So my number one is Adidas Here to Create Legend. It gets my number one spot because of the wireless and mobile technologies involved, including there's geofencing via, I guess it must be RFID chips, and from what I can tell, mobile transmission of content. So it was a promotion at the Boston Marathon. Adidas created a system whereby they could create personalized videos for all 30,000 registered runners that day and have the videos ready and online and shareable on social media about 2 hours, 3 hours after the race was over. This was incredible. They essentially created this memento video for you, personalized to you. And how it worked was they had a prepackaged video with areas where they would punch in the personalized information. That way they could have it all just ready to punch in, information and video of you during your race. RFID tags built into the racer bibs with the number. Well, there were interrogators at different spots throughout the race that would trigger the video to start capturing them. Like, hey, I'm just passing this threshold, capture video. It was a group of people. It wasn't like it was zeroed in on just your face or anything, but it showed you actually crossing that big portion of the race. And the RFID tag was taking all your stats, the time to that section, your pace and things like that all were integrated into the video that literally was done automatically on the fly and then ready within about 2 or 3 hours after the race. I just thought this was a spectacular application of technology and a different, or kind of a reverse twist on mobile. They didn't have to do anything. The mobile technology was working for them. And my favorite thing about this is for Adidas, so obviously complete, perfect, exact target audience for them, but as importantly, Adidas was not tooting its horn here. It was helping its target audience toot their own horns to enable them to have this hugely valuable memento or what is a pretty significant event to do the Boston Marathon. So I just thought this was perfect match of brand, audience, and application of mobile and wireless technologies. That's my number one.
No, that is fantastic. So were they basically using the RFID to capture the person at each of the different milestones within the race?
Yes.
And then threaded those together at the end and then built the video?
Yeah, so they had most of the video already pre-built. It was about the Boston Marathon, but then it would run your statistics kind of on screen, but then it would insert you right into the action at the appropriate times. I don't know how many portions of it were punched out video, but you literally got to see yourself, or at least you and that group of people that crossed that certain point in the race at a certain time. And you had all of your statistics captured and all of it presented and given to you from Adidas. I just think this is a brilliant idea. And I hope other brands do this kind of thing, not just in races, but there's got to be other significant communal events where it's impossible to create these kinds of things on your own. It's a great opportunity for brands.
No, I absolutely agree. I agree with you making that number one. That's fantastic.
Cool. All right. So I think that rounds up our top choices for favorite mobile marketing initiatives in 2018. Please tune in for the next episode where we'll continue our rewind on the coolest marketing of 2018. So this is Rick Matheson.
And this is Rick Wooten. And hit us up on our website at rickandrick.com or on Facebook or Twitter and let us know what you think. Are there mobile apps or mobile campaigns that we missed? Let us know.
And be sure, as always, to tune in next time for the one show where everybody's name is Rick and everybody rules the world.